Yo, what is up guys? It's Cone back here again today with another video, and today I'm doing a video that I talked about doing a few days ago. As you can see on the screen, this tweet right here, I posted the 14th, today's the 18th, I think. I'm losing track of days, but I tried to record this video once and it just did not record. I hit record, and when I went back to the file just did not exist for some reason, so I'm doing this again. Like all my videos, I can't seem to get it right on the first try. Additionally, you might be able to hear, I'm a little sick. I'm dealing with COVID right now. I tested positive a few days ago, so if I sound a little weird, that's why. So I'm sorry if I sound a little weird, or if at some point it sounds like I'm talking nonsense. My head's a little cloudy right now. So, but I still want to get you guys this video. That's also why there was no usual like nightly recap of the games last night, because I just wasn't feeling up to it last night. And with that, I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. So, yeah, drop a like, drop a subscribe, whatever you're feeling, and let's go ahead. I'm just going to talk about each of these quickly. As you can read up here, it says Unpopular NBA Opinions. You can see by the title 2. I want to do this video so that I can kind of get some different perspectives, talk about some different teams, and talk about some things I might not have talked about already. So I might not talk about some of these as much as other things I might have already talked about a lot. Like if I've talked about the Harden trade for a lot of time on my channel, which I have, I might not talk about as much in this video. So with that being said, let's get into it. Starting off with Maxi Kleber is one of the best 3-and-D players in the league. Maxi Kleber is underrated, but best 3-and-D players in the league I think is a bit of a stretch. Westbrook is overhated and it's not even funny. Yes, that is true. I'm going to like that. Westbrook is overhated. I don't know why. I've never understood. Maybe it's because Westbrook's my favorite player of all time, but I've never understood the Westbrook hate. I get he's not a perfect, he's like very far from a perfect player, but he's a very good player. He gives 110% all the time. He's a great passer, great rebounder, pretty good scorer, traditionally at least around the rim. He struggled more dealing with a quad injury most of this season. I'm hopeful that during this long extended quarantine time that the Wizards have, he's going to be able to like kind of get back into where he was before. Back, I want to see him get back to that stretch in January where he was or last January where he was with the Rockets still, and he was putting up like insane numbers. He was looking like an MVP type player again. I want to see him get back to that because, like I said, he is my favorite player of all time. It's just tough because he deals with a lot of injuries, and as a player who does rely a lot on his athleticism, he doesn't have as much of it anymore. He is getting older, which sucks to see. But yeah, overhated. Pacers have the deepest starting 5 in the league. So when healthy, their starting 5 will be Brogdon, LeVert, Warren, Sabonis, Turner. That is a very deep starting 5. And if you saw my Pacers video a couple of days ago, I really like the Pacers. I think that this Pacers team is like not maybe I feel like they were like a slot below contender. And some people got mad at me when I said they were slot below contender. In my opinion, there's only like 3 or 4 contenders in the league actually. It's like the Bucks, like the Nets, the Lakers, Clippers, and maybe like a couple other teams. There's not a lot of contenders in the NBA. The NBA is a top-heavy league. When it comes down to it, there's only a few contenders. So saying that they're a tier above a contender is a massive compliment. I think that they just like that superstar, and that's why I don't know if I can say deepest starting 5. Yeah, I don't know. Just the fact that like everyone in that starting line is very good, but they don't have a true superstar might take away from that. I could argue the Lakers maybe is a deeper starting 5 just based on talent. It really depends whether you value the top heavier talent to get like the overall talent of the roster up. But if you're talking like all around like solid players, the Pacers are definitely in that conversation. Hayward is looking like his prime self. I wouldn't say prime self. He has looked very good though. I'll give it that he's looked the best since his Utah days. This is what the player that Boston was hoping to get when they signed him. Obviously, it's not his fault because he dealt with that horrible injury on the first game of his contract, which is just very unfortunate for him and the Celtics, who just gave him that massive contract back then. But it's really nice to see Hayward balling out again. OKC needs more picks. Not at all. I think we're doing good. When fully healthy, Cavs can make a run to the conference finals. With Kevin Porter Jr. throwing a bowl, or not a bowl of soup, that was J.R. Smith, but another Cavs player throwing food, which is very weird that it's happened twice now. If you didn't see earlier, Kevin Porter Jr. threw food after finding out his locker had been given to Taurean Prince. which is a weird thing to do. No, I don't think this Cavs team can make conference finals. They don't have enough talent. Maybe one day. They also have holes at some positions. Like their small forward spot is a pretty big hole right now. Like they've got decently talented players. They've got like possibly the future with Isaac Okoro, but he's just not there yet. Dame is better than Harden. No, he is not. Bradley Beal is the second best player in the league right now. No, he is not. Nurkic is greater than Gobert. No, he is not. Ja is greater than Trae Young. When I recorded this the first time, I said no. It's still no. But Trae Young's been very, very mediocre. Oh, and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has also not been great this season. But Trae Young's struggling. He played really well to start the season. And ever since Steve Nash said something along the lines of that the way Trae Young played basketball wasn't really basketball, Trae Young has not looked the same. He had a pretty good game today. So hopefully that's the beginning of a bounce back. He had a double-double with points and assists. It was like, I think he was around like 15 assists or so. And it was good to see him play aggressive again. And he's always been aggressive, but sometimes he can just, like if he's struggling, he'll keep shooting. But today he kind of like focused on, he stayed aggressive, but it was more so where he would attack. And then as soon as the defense went after him, because even if he's struggling, he's still Trae Young. So obviously the defense is going to crash on him or go after him, double team him at times. He finds the open man, which is what he needs to learn how to do if he's struggling, and he did a great job with that today. Gobert is better than Spida? No, I don't think so. It's close, but I don't think so. MVP Russ is greater than MVP Rose. I agree with this. Some people might not like that. MVP Russ was amazing. He carried that roster. That roster had no business being in the playoffs. So, in history, Chris Paul is greater than CP3. Or Chris Paul is better than Curry, sorry. No, I'm a big CP3 fan. I love Chris Paul. Before his OKC days and because of this recent OKC stint has made me appreciate him more, but he's not better than Curry, no. Curry is the second greatest point guard of all time. I just talked about Trae. If the draft goes decent and they hit next year and can keep their core and some of their better players, the Pistons will be contender 3 to 4. I don't know. It depends how Killian Hayes pans out. Killian Hayes is huge for that team. Jeremy Grant's like kind of like an all-star, but he's already up there in age. Like he's not like a super young piece. I think he's like 26, which isn't too bad, but he's hitting his prime like now and in the next couple years, which would be optimal for them to become a contender. But I don't know if this level of production is going to keep up when they add more pieces to that roster. They've still got Blake Griffin, who's a bad contract. There's just way too many holes on this roster for me to think that they're going to be a contender in 3 to 4 years. And like they don't have like a ton of picks like an OKC does. I'm shouting out the Thunder again because I'm biased as hell. I just don't see a path to them being a contender in 3 to 4 years. I don't see it. It's very possible. I've seen weirder things happen in the NBA, but I don't see it. Not that soon. Rockets can still make the playoffs. I don't know. I think that they're too. It depends on Oladipo looks. I'll leave it at that. Allen Iverson is the best dribbler of all time, best handlers of all time. I kind of lean Kyrie. I'm also biased because I didn't grow up watching Allen Iverson. I was too young to remember peak Allen Iverson, and so like, I've seen Kyrie like as I've fallen in love with basketball, because I didn't start falling in love with basketball till like 6-7-ish years ago, which is past Allen Iverson's time. So Kyrie was coming up in the league, so I've watched him more, so I think I'm biased towards that, but I go Kyrie usually. Kyrie Westbrook's 10s, totally not biased, 100% agree with that. Basically position to be a top 10 forward in the league. He has that ceiling, I think. It's just he's got to get better at, he's got to get his shot more consistent, and he has to make smarter decisions. And then obviously just grow as a player. Rockets will make the playoffs. We already talked about that one. Nets aren't making the finals. I don't think that's an unpopular opinion. I guess it could be considered by it, but in this season with COVID and everything going on, I don't think saying any team not making the finals isn't a stretch. Like you could easily say the Lakers won't make the finals, and I don't think that's too big of a stretch because like the Clippers are still really good. There's COVID. You've got other big teams. If like LeBron James is out with COVID for 1 or 2 games in a series, the Lakers could easily lose. So Lou Dort is greater than LeBron. That's not unpopular. I think that's pretty popular right now. Clippers will beat the Lakers in 6. Clippers are still very good. Don't sleep on the Clippers. Magic are still making the playoffs by injuries. No, they aren't. This Magic team is decimated. Especially with Evan Fournier out now too. No. Jokic's the best playmaker in the entire league. I'm going to go LeBron. I'm going to lean LeBron. Kyrie's ridiculously overrated. I don't think so. Bazley does have all-star potential, though. Chris Boucher is a top 10 of so far this season. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing he means power forward, but no, I don't think so. Russell Westbrook's MVP season is the most impressive of the decade. I don't think so. I think Curry's unanimous MVP has to be the most impressive of the decade. He was just unbelievable, dominant. He was unanimous for a reason. So, okay. We're reaching about 11 minutes, so I don't want to make this too long, so I'll go through a few. You guys left a lot of responses. Thank you so much. I already talked about the Pacers. The Bulls could play a playoff team this year. Okay, we'll move on. Kareem, number 2 player of all time, strong argument for the GOAT. Kareem does have an argument for the GOAT, I would say. I think I have Kareem number 3 all time. I don't like getting into all time lists. I think that's so dumb because it's so subjective. Everyone bases it based on different criteria. You can't act like an all time list is objective at all. But I think Kareem does have an argument to be the greatest all time. I don't think he's number 2. I think he's behind LeBron and MJ. But I have him number 3. Bulls future number 1 is Lowry Markkanen. I don't know. He's got to get back to that sophomore season, Lowry Markkanen. He looked like it yesterday, but it depends if he can stay consistent because that's been the big thing with him, consistency and health. If he can have those 2 things, Lowry could be a really good player. I just don't know if he can find those. Shea will be an MVP one day. I don't know. I'm the biggest Shai Gilgeous-Alexander fan you will ever find, but I also try to be realistic. I would love to see Shai be an MVP one day, but when you have guys in the league like Luka, like you're going to have Tatum in the league for the whole time Shai's in his career. You're going to have Giannis. You're going to have Trae Young, who's struggling right now, but will eventually pick it up. Zion, Ja. It's going to be tough for SGA to win an MVP with... he doesn't have a super big name compared to some of those guys. I would love to see it. Who knows? Nick Batum and Serge Ibaka give... This is the weirdest tweet of all time. I mean, he's not wrong, but just the fact reading that Nick Batum and Serge Ibaka in the year 2021 give the Clippers a real shot at winning it all. The Clippers... Like, if I showed you this tweet... Imagine I showed you this tweet in, even 2-3 years ago. You'd call me insane to think that Nick Batum and Serge Ibaka give the Clippers a real shot. Or, 2019... you'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? But, I mean, he's not wrong. Serge Ibaka's really good, and Batum's been a great fit for them, so cool for them. Embiid will win MVP. He's my favorite right now. We'll go through a few more because it's hitting around 13-minute mark. This is a dumb tweet. It said Russell Westbrook was the worst MVP winner of all time. That's a dumb tweet. Harden will be the first option in Brooklyn. I'm guessing he means not the best player. Yeah, I think Durant's better. First option, it looked like it was Durant in their first game. We'll see if that continues when Kyrie comes back. If Curry wins MVP, he's top 8. I'm guessing that's all time. He's up there. I think he would be around top 10. But he needs to get a couple more rings to get up there. Kevin Durant should be in the MVP race. I agree. Nets have a big hole defensively. That he's not wrong. RJ Barrett is actually a good player. I don't understand where this comes in there. RJ Barrett is a decent player. Best point guard of all time, Curry, nah. Raptors should trade Kyle Lowry right now. That's not a bad argument. This is a video I kind of want to make. Should the Raptors blow it up? So you might see that in the next few coming days because I've been trying to think of topics to record about, and I think that the Raptors blowing it up is a very interesting concept because they have Siakam signed on a max deal. They have Fred VanVleet, who's not super young. He's not super old either, but he's not super young. So it's very weird. They're in a really weird spot whether they should blow it up or not, but I think that's a valid argument. John Morant and SGA would both be all-stars. I think SGA will. I could see John Morant. Now that he's come back early, I thought he was going to miss too much time, but he's coming back now. Tyrese Halliburton would be the best rookie in this draft class of 5 years. He's really good. And I think with that, that's about all I wanted to go through. We've kind of reached the end. Yeah, hitting about the 15-minute mark. Clippers still found contender should be taking as a joke. That's true. Shai's greater than Donovan Mitchell. No, that's not true, but I like the tweet anyways. And with that, I think I'm going to call it here. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this type of video. I want to make more stuff like this because Twitter is obviously my main platform. It's what I've grown my brand off of, I guess you could say. So yeah, I might make more videos like this. Let me know if you like this type of video. Me just kind of going through talking about like a bunch of different topics, smaller rather than broader pictures. So with that being said, I will see you guys